Welcome to another edition of the Katzzbros podcast. I am George Katz.
And I'm Andy Katz.
And on today's episode, we will look at the WWE Network Docuseries, The Undertaker, Last Ride.
But before we dive into that, I just want to remind all our fans to go ahead and subscribe to our official YouTube channel, Katzzbros Podcast, as well as follow us on all our social media platforms at Katzzbros Podcast. And if you can't listen to our YouTube channel, make sure to take us on the road with Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio.
Let's get into it. On the network, we had the docuseries of The Undertaker. It was 5 parts, concluded this past Sunday on Father's Day. And the way it ended, it was so poetic that it ended on Father's Day, to be honest. The final episode was very touching.
Did you cry?
No, I don't cry. I'm sorry.
I didn't weep, but I definitely got a little sentimental. We'll get into it, but obviously, I think even before we dive into it, what do you think about the whole docuseries as a whole?
There's a lot of questions that need to be answered. I think going into this, many speculated that The Undertaker was done with wrestling.
But even before that, I like how, the whole, even though it's just 5 episodes, I think it was really well put together. Should we just dive in for episode 1 where it picks up?
Obviously, I don't know who would recap a show starting from the last episode. I'm going first.
Oh, it sounded like you were going that way, that's why.
Not really. Well, okay. Okay, so on episode 1, it's not episodes, are there parts? Part 1.
Chronicle 1.
Part 1, no, not Chronicle. It's
part.
No.
Okay, yes. Part 1. Part 1.
Picks up WrestleMania 33, Orlando, Florida. Undertaker coming in and against the big dog at the
Ooh! Sorry, I just really want to do that. The big dog.
Roman Reigns, who had miraculously during this stretch. Let's see. It was during his main event stretch of Manias. He main evented 31, 32, 33, 34. Did he?
No, he did not main event 35.
So this was Roman's main event stretch as being the face,
that runs the place.
I don't know, but I wouldn't say that. That would be actually Undertaker's opponent later on in the series, AJ Styles, saying for now his blue brand, SmackDown.
Yes.
So I wouldn't say that. I'd say Roman was the face where Big Game John left off, John
right.
Cena.
He was trying to fill
John Felix Anthony Jr. Sorry.
Are you going to give me his date of birth, too?
Dude.
April 23rd, 1977.
You wouldn't know that. That's a little fucking creepy, isn't it?
No, man. Hardcore fan. As Deontay Wilder says, to this day!
Okay, buddy.
I'm sorry. Anyway.
But, yeah.
So
this was Roman stretch. People at the time kind of knew going into this match what it was signaling. Going into the match, there was rumors this was going to be Taker's final one, and of course, the one to do it would be Roman. The match that happened. Build was nice going into it, but the match itself, Taker was not physically in shape, I would say. He wasn't really in shape. This was one of the bigger Takers. He didn't have a good training camp because now that he only fights at Mania ever since
Brock happened in 2014.
No.
Oh, no, was it after?
27. WrestleMania 27 when he fought Hunter.
That's Triple
in
H.
Atlanta, Paul Triple H Levesque, as they put, that's what he was named in the docuseries during the interviews.
Bring it home.
No. At 27, that was a brutal match that took a toll on Taker's aging body at the time. So that's ever since 27, he would have his training camp for each WrestleMania, maybe another one here and there, as the docuseries we'll get into. But going into this one, match itself, slow, sluggish, not a lot of botches like the Goldberg one, which we'll get into. But Taker was watching this with his wife, former WWE Women's Champion and Divas Champion Michelle McCool. He wasn't the best, but the way he left his hat, his gloves, and his classic trench coat in the ring. Everybody thought he called it quits. Not called it quits, but I'm saying he retired. But I think they pick up at episode 2 where Taker
He's rewatching it with his wife.
And he's just not satisfied at all.
He's not. I mean, that's just an understatement. He's pissed. He's pissed. He thinks he put on a pathetic performance. Like you said, obviously there was a few botches in the match because, let's be honest, it's sports entertainment. Like, there's no retake. It's a live crowd. Especially with Undertaker. Well, at the time. The pre-COVID era.
The pre-COVID era, but I'm going to give you a little spoiler. You know, the Radar Superstar that came back, you know, now the reports he tore his tricep was actually on a retake of the greatest wrestling match alive. The only one that was taped. They retaped the spot where he tore his bicep. And
I don't think they even used that footage, obviously, in the final cut.
Yeah, because
I couldn't find it.
I couldn't find it because when you tear your bicep, like Hunter did, and actually in his match with Taker we'll get into, you see it starts bruising. You really didn't see that in the match with Edge.
Yeah, the reshoot.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to Undertaker, he's watching his match against Roman with his wife. He's disgusted himself, and this is one of the biggest themes, like one of the underlying themes in the whole docuseries is like he's chasing redemption. Like with him, I think it was Hunter or Triple H. He says like it's always a catch-22. Like if he has a bad match, obviously he has to come back and redeem himself. But if he has a good match, then in the back of Undertaker's mind, he goes, well, I had a good match, so could I keep going? Do I have another one in me? So it's like a mental. It's like a mental warfare game. He plays with himself. Yes. Yeah. He's chasing the, what do you call it? Chasing the ghosts of wrestling past.
That was episode 3, which we'll
get into. But he always wants to go out again. He always wants to go out on his term. He's always trying to find that one, like perfect match that he wants to hang his hat up and.
Because he's such a professional.
He really is, and that's another key takeaway I got in this whole documentary is Undertaker. It could arguably be said that the Undertaker character is probably the greatest gimmick ever created in WWE. And the man behind it, Mark Calloway, is probably the biggest, like, you know, the most professional, you know, person who could have done this gimmick. You know, they call him the Godfather of the locker room and of the business in general.
Like he's the measuring stick.
Right, and to have a 30-year career in WWE and to still, you know, kind of be there, you know, till this day. I think it was kind of cool how like they showed the one clip where he's talking to the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, and if you think about it, Undertaker had a program with their dad like 15, 20 years ago. Yeah. So that just shows you the longevity that Taker's had, and I think the biggest thing with him too is you know, being in the game for so long, he kind of looks at it as like his baby, and I think part of it is like him worried of like what happens if he steps away, like will the business be in good hands? So all these themes are kind of intertwined through this whole docuseries, which we'll touch upon going on from episode to episode. But like you said, he's watching the match with his wife. He's disgusted, and this is kind of like where it starts. Like, okay, part 1 of redemption. So then, like you said, he started training more.
Yeah. So after the Roman match, he starts training. In episode 2, he starts training. He wants to get at it, but he trains hard going into WrestleMania 34. But the match he had with John was a squash match in Call of Wrestling where you're just going to put whoever's over going over and they're going to look strong.
They gave him
5 to 10 minutes, and Taker was very disappointed because he trained for at least a 20, 25-minute match. So he didn't want to end on that. So again,
well, even he said it too in Gorilla when they're like, how do you feel? I think it was Shane. He's like, how do you feel? And he goes, I feel great. Like, I know I only went 5. I expected 35. So again, this match or this program with Cena was kind of set up to kind of reestablish Undertaker. You would think he'd be happy with it, but again, the true professional that he is, and like how he almost a perfectionist that he is, he goes, he's not satisfied. Yeah. So even though he beat Cena in 5 minutes, you know, he feels great. It seems like he's got you know his legs back under him. He's feeling great. He's trained hard. He's still not satisfied. Then what happens?
Well, that was the first 2 episodes for me were. It was the slow build. Now when we pick up in episode 3 through 5, this is where everything is going to start hitting home. Yeah. And episode 3 is even titled Chasing the Ghosts of Wrestling Past. So after the Cena match, WWE is going to go to Australia for the Super Showdown that they had. And they said last time ever, Triple H, Undertaker. And through this whole episode, this is why it was called Chasing the Ghosts. Taker was explaining he went into his 4 Mania matches in that stretch from 25 to 28. Yeah, where the 2 was Shawn.
Yeah,
he said
WrestleMania 25 and 26 were with Shawn.
WrestleMania 27, 28 with Hunter.
Yeah.
And he even said he put his WrestleMania 25 match as one of the greatest WrestleMania matches up there. WrestleMania 26, arguably too. And you're coming off of that with storytelling. Okay, Shawn couldn't do it. Now his best friend in the whole business that everybody knows is going to try and defeat the streak. And that's the whole thing, the streak with Undertaker. He didn't really recognize he had a streak at Mania until I think it was like his 10th WrestleMania. Somebody goes, "No, you're undefeated at Mania." So then it was like the mystique is being created.
Yeah.
He's undefeated at Mania.
Because even up until that point, like you couldn't, every time you thought about WrestleMania, you always thought about the Undertaker streak. Like it went hand in hand.
And like there was times where the streak could have been broken, but guys refuted. And that's just how much respect Taker had within the locker room. They had guys that like Taker was fine with losing. Like he really,
because he's a business, or he always looks out for the business.
And he wanted to create new stars.
Yeah. Like should we do a rundown or?
Yeah. So WrestleMania 21 when they went Hollywood, Randy Orton's whole gimmick at the time was the legend kill. Like he was killing all these legends, and they wanted to give it. I think Taker wanted him to end it, but Randy had respect. And he's like, no, I can't. And then I know the one last time was WrestleMania 24. They wanted Edge to end it, and Edge again was like, no, I respectfully decline.
Because that was the world title match. I remember it was Edge versus Undertaker for the
Taker doesn't need the title.
Yeah.
But
and it's crazy because I think he only held the WWE title 4 or 5 times in his career.
Yeah, some of that. Right. He had the one where he was the American Badass.
Mm-hmm.
The one back.
The 2002 gimmick, against Hogan.
He won his first one off Hogan, I think, in the Survivor Series. And then he won it one more time. I think it was like off Austin or something.
Right. But like I said, like you were saying.
And
like
then the 2 world title reigns. SmackDown.
Those were good. The ones against Edge and Batista.
Yeah.
Even his match at WrestleMania 27 at Ford Field against Batista when he won the title.
23.
Or sorry, WrestleMania 23 in 2007. I apologize. Against Batista being the world heavyweight champion coming in. That was a hell of a match considering, you have two big giants wrestling, and obviously the knock on that is, they're limited in the ring, but they put on a hell of a match.
I think Batista was offering again. He respectfully declined.
I think so too. Yeah. So that's the thing. It's like, because the thing with the Undertaker's, he knows that, wrestling's always going to be there. Like his legacy will always be there, but him himself will physically not always be there. So he's trying to do, I guess you could say, the time-honored tradition of like how do I give back to the business? So this whole thing of like, okay, how could I, we call it in wrestling, give the rub. So it's like, how could he, like, what could he kind of do to like, give his stamp of approval? Like, okay, I've done everything I could ride off into the sunset. And we thought, even I know it doesn't talk about in this docuseries, but back in 2014, WrestleMania 30. In New Orleans.
This is where we forget. We should have started with this. I think it started with that match, the Brock match.
Right. So WrestleMania 30, Brock Lesnar versus Undertaker. This is the famous match that ends the Undertaker streak. Undertaker gets concussed in this match, and it's crazy because he ends up having to be rushed to the emergency room, and Vince McMahon leaves WrestleMania and is by the Undertaker's side. So he didn't see anything after that. He didn't see the main event, Daniel Bryan winning the title, and whatever matches were after that. This is the CEO of the company. He's leaving basically his Super Bowl.
Chairman of the company.
The Super Bowl of wrestling.
This is his baby he created.
Exactly. He's leaving the Super Bowl of wrestling to go be by the Undertaker's side. So that just shows you the relationship they had.
Yeah, and that was touched upon the whole series. In the when they were in the Monday Night Wars, I'm sure Bischoff and Ted Turner offered Taker a lot of money to convert, but he stayed loyal, and I think that Vince respected that. That's why they had such a tight relationship, because Taker stayed.
Well, yeah, and even the one part where they interviewed Vince throughout, but the one part where they're like, "What does the Undertaker mean to you?" And Vince didn't even answer. He started crying, and he told the camera guy to cut the camera. So that just shows you right there what Vince thinks of Taker and what Taker thinks of Vince, and the respect that they have for each other. And it's crazy because Taker would always joke just when I thought I was done, they'd always pull me back in. And it's kind of cool how even his wife Michelle realizes all right, if Vince ever calls, She never. What I respect about her is that she never talks him out of it. She always supports him in whatever decision that he makes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the coolest part. And I feel like it takes a special person, nonetheless, someone's wife, to kind of, go on that rodeo, that like roller coaster ride of like, being married to a wrestler, especially someone with the caliber of like Undertaker.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry. So sidetrack. Going back here.
WrestleMania 30.
Yeah, WrestleMania 30. Undertaker gets concussed. It's revealed in the series that he doesn't remember anything. Like, obviously, he doesn't remember that match. The last thing I think he says he remembers is, like...
His memory picks up at 5 a.m. in the hospital.
5 a.m. in the hospital, and the last thing he remembers is something that happened, like, 3:45 in the afternoon that day.
Yeah.
So that whole day is a wash. This is kind of, like... This is the first time, really, like, you see Undertaker kind of... Not just the gimmick of the Undertaker, but the man Mark Calloway be like he's like in his own head, like he's so like he's vulnerable. He's his confidence is destroyed. Like he has self-doubt, and I think that's why it was so huge going into the next year's WrestleMania against Bray Wyatt in 2015, when they're backstage and you could see that he has doubt in his eyes. And Triple H comes over, and he tells him, he goes, remember what he tells him? He goes to Undertaker and he goes, remember who the blank you are. Like, you're the Undertaker. So that just shows you, like, for the Undertaker to show people, like, his vulnerabilities and his self-doubt, like, you could tell, like, a lot of people were very caught off guard with that. But I think he had a solid match with Bray Wyatt. So obviously Undertaker wins, he redeems his loss, and you're kind of thinking, okay, the wheels are in motion now. He's going to, pick himself back up, regain his confidence. And then...
WrestleMania 32, he fought Shane.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, match was...
It was a Hell in a Cell match. The thing with Undertaker is you can't just... because of where he's at in his career, you can't just have a straight-up wrestling match. It has to be a gimmick match in order to get something out of it.
Especially with Shane. Like, Shane's not every day as a wrestler. So it was a good, like, spectacle of a Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah, at a WrestleMania.
He obviously won, like, whatever. And then... That's where it segues into the whole Roman thing. And to touch on the 30, like Taker said, he thinks it was just him not conditioning, being out that long, and having a guy of Brock's nature and stature throw him around and pick him up. Like, Brock's the only guy that actually did that. Taker said that could throw him around.
Yeah, and like I said, again, Brock Lesnar has credibility. He's a former UFC champion, collegiate wrestling champion. So, you know what I mean? It's actually like, so when you see Brock Lesnar manhandling The Undertaker, like, that's credible, that's believable. Yes, we understand that, WWE and wrestling is a spectacle, it's sports entertainment. Yes, there are moments you have to suspend your disbelief, but whenever you have Brock Lesnar in the ring, you don't. Everything is real, it's a shoot. He is, and I think, in a way, like, yeah, was I pissed that he beat Undertaker at the moment? Yeah, but looking back on it,
it made sense.
Who else were... because it also protects Undertaker in a way. Because the only way he was going to lose is you literally had to have a legit MMA fighter do it.
Or the greatest, or you would have had CM Punk beat him the year before.
That too. But I think those would have been the two I would have gone with.
Because they had the best match on the 29 card.
That should have been the main event.
But we all know why the main event was. Once in a lifetime became twice in a lifetime. It was always going to be twice in a lifetime. Like, come on.
There's always going to be a return match.
The Rock and Cena aren't going to... The Rock is going to come and beat Cena, and Cena was going to say, okay, go back to Hollywood. Like, it was always going to be twice in a lifetime.
There's always going to be a return.
If you want a good interview, a great shoot interview on that, CM Punk, The Art of Wrestling, Colt Cabana podcast. It's a two-parter, but it's part one. And this was... when he left WWE, unleashes all his frustrations he had. And there's some good Vince stories he had back there, and some good Ryback ones, and Ryback finally retaliated.
Anyway.
But that's besides the point.
Yeah. Going back to here, so...
Going back to episode 3, this is, they're talking about, obviously...
The two, I know we kind of jumped around, but obviously we left off at 2015. He fights... he fought Bray Wyatt, he wins. 2016, he wrestles Shane, he wins. So that takes us up to 2017 with Roman Reigns. But obviously, even before that, like we were talking about in episode 3, it says chasing the ghost of wrestling past. I think it's safe to say Undertaker wanted that, Undertaker was looking for that farewell that Shawn Michaels got in 2010 when Undertaker ironically ended up retiring him. And then they have the two, like you said, the two WrestleManias after that with Triple H. And the last one obviously being a Hell in a Cell match with Shawn Michaels being the referee. You know, just storytelling. That's the thing with wrestling. It's it's a business of storytelling, and that was probably the best case of how to tell a story in the ring. You know, you have Shawn being the referee. Okay, is it going to be biased? Because obviously he's got a referee against his best friend and the man that retired him. That story writes itself. And just the selling that they would do, like Shawn's facials. Every time he thought he had it, every time he went to count the pinfall. When Triple H covered Undertaker, Undertaker would kick out at 2 3/4, and Shawn Michaels would just you would just see it, like it would just pain him because he's like, come on, like you can like just stay down, you know. And the vicious chair shots Triple H would give Undertaker during the match, you know. But that's why they called it the end of an era match. And you want to touch upon the photo that all four of them or all three of them have?
At the end of the match, obviously Undertaker won, as we said, and him, Hunter, HBK all took a photo, and that actually happened on top of the stage, and it's the classic iconic photo coming out of that whole WrestleMania with them hugging on top of the stage after telling a hell of a story.
Yeah, thus signifying an end of an era, because those three would never be, well, we thought at the time, would never be in the ring together, at least not to that caliber. And Triple H was the one that I think you said he took that picture and framed it and gave a copy to everyone to have. So, and Triple H alludes to like how, even though he's not really close with Triple H outside the ring, like the level of respect they have, and that means a lot to him. And you know, in that moment he carries near and dear to his heart, along with HBK.
Yeah. So, I mean, we all thought it was going to be the last time, but as we now know,
the Saudis happened.
WWE struck a deal. The Saudi Prince!
10-year deal, baby!
And the Saudi Prince gives a lot of money to this company.
Not even that. Can we talk about the wish list that the Saudi Prince had?
Are we talking about the one that's deceased that he wanted? Okay, obviously, I'm not going to go into details on the whole. If you want to know a good Chris Benoit story, just watch the 2-part episodes on Dark Side of the Ring to know Chris Benoit. I'm not going to touch upon it. He's been erased from WWE history. It's awful. It's a tragedy. But if you want, I'm not going to get into it. It's none of my business. All I'm
going to say is Chris Benoit, the wrestler, hell of a talent. Probably one of the greatest of all time.
But
Chris Benoit, the person.
No, stop.
All right.
Chris Benoit, after Eddie Guerrero's death as a person.
Chris Benoit, the person, post Eddie Guerrero death. Yes, that's unfortunately that 2-year span ended up defining, you know, a 40+ year life.
And you guys are probably like, why the hell are these two idiots talking about a deceased man? What does this have to do with anything? Well, the Saudi Prince,
not just him though, but
and his people,
went
to Vince McMahon
with a wish list of wrestlers they would want on their shows.
They were gonna pay a rumored $10 million to put Chris Benoit in the Hall of Fame.
In the WWE Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I did not know that. I thought you were going to go with,
along with that.
Could we go with the list? So obviously,
this list was insane.
When they go to Saudi, they're pretty much, Vince is basically at the mercy of the Saudi Prince, obviously.
Yeah.
And, you know, basically that show, if you want to, for lack of, you know, better way of saying it, is basically booked by the Saudi Prince. Like he tells Vince, this is who I want in the show. That's why all these old timers come back. That's why when we thought it was an end of an era with Triple H, Undertaker, and Shawn Michaels, you know, the Saudi Prince says, I want them in a tag team match. I want DX, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels versus the Brothers of Destruction, Kane and the Undertaker. And, you know, the Saudi Prince, God bless his soul, huge WWE fan. He wanted Yokozuna on the card. The man's been dead since, I think, 98, 99.
Saudi Prince wanted a lot of things, and probably a huge wrestling fan, but he just didn't know who the hell was alive.
The Saudi Prince
obviously
wanted to pull a Christos Anesi here and just rise all these deceased wrestlers.
Obviously, the oil fumes got to him.
Oh my God. Yeah, like I mean, hell of a card if you think about it. You can't say the Saudi Prince doesn't know his stuff.
The greatest thing is the dinner they had with the Saudi Prince the first time they went to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
So they signed a 10-year deal.
And the Riyadh Stadium, that's where they...
Yes. So WWE signed a 10-year deal with them back in 2008. So yeah, the first time they go there, they have the huge dinner. Can you remember that classic video scene?
There's like a classic video scene where the camera pans to everyone around. You got Vince and like obviously the Saudi prince right at the head. The Saudi prince is having the time of his life. He's like, look at me, I got all the legends. Look at me. He's got all the WWE legends. And obviously he's missing his boys, Yokozuna and Benoit. I'm sorry.
No, that's terrible. No, it's not even that. You have Undertaker, you have Brock Lesnar at the table.
Okay, they pan the camera. They pan the camera. So you got the Saudi prince having this big old smile on his face.
Him and Vince are just shooting the you-know-what.
Vince is probably like, oh, good food. The Saudi prince is having the time of his life, dude.
Saudi prince go, Yokozuna go over tomorrow.
Yeah. The camera starts panning, so you got Brock Lesnar in a suit. You got Taker next to him, angled next to him. Yeah. And then you got like Hunter,
just all the old school guys, yeah.
And this is like a legend dinner. Like I'd have fantasy, but the Saudi prince has the biggest smile in the video.
Like this is his dreams, like
this is a fantasy come true to him.
Literally, like you know how like here we go to Disney World, like there, he brought Disney World in the form of the WWE legend.
Except he missed 2 people for his ride.
Okay, you know what?
I'm sorry.
Leave Yokozuna alone, okay?
He wanted, and then he told Vince to put Benoit in the Hall of Fame. Like, dude, I don't know if obviously they're not catching American news down there. Like, well, this is bad. This is bad.
Should we talk about what happened this past year?
No, we were talking about Super Showdown before, because that's how we lead into Jeddah.
You're right.
Saudi Arabia.
All right, so Super Showdown.
So Vince makes the call. We're gonna do one last match between you, Triple H, Taker, and Triple H in Australia. The match happens, but they put Shawn Michaels and Kane in their respective corners because you know it's a spectacle.
Because they sell, you know.
Yeah,
they're a draw. They're a draw.
Match happens where Shawn interferes. You know, Triple H doesn't win clean to protect Taker. They do a classic like end of the match. Everyone's holding hands, but then the brothers.
The classic scene. They all 4 of them have their hands raised. Yeah. And then, like you said, heel turn, or I guess heel turn.
Kane Undertaker, Kane chokeslam, power driven. They ride off, do their classic back stare, which then leads us to the Saudi Prince's dream, baby. And
sorry.
And this was the only match Shawn would ever fight coming out of retirement because the build was was real good because obviously Taker retired Shawn, and Shawn wanted to respect that. Plus, Shawn wanted to retire, so that's the whole like storytelling.
But again, unfortunately, money wins out. The Saudi Prince was basically begging Vince to get Shawn out of retirement. Literally just throwing money at him. Like
I don't know how much they got paid for the match, but if he was offering $10 million to put Benoit in the Hall of Fame, it's just. But the match itself, though, when we get to Jeddah, I don't know if they had a lot of.
Before we get into that, what do you think could possibly happen? I mean, you got 4. Eventually, Triple H, he's already in there in the Hall of Fame. But you got 4 Hall of Famers.
Or DX.
Yeah, you got DX versus Brothers Destructions. They probably ran this match a million times back in the 90s, early 2000s. You know, even I think Undertaker said it. You know, we know each other.
Match on paper, looking beautiful for the Saudi Prince to put a big old smile to go home in Jeddah. But my God, we got the mayor of Knox County now, Glenn Jacobs. Not Destruction Kane. So he's been out. HBK hasn't wrestled since WrestleMania 26.
So you're looking almost 10 years between his.
It was like 8 or 9, whatever. Yeah. I forgot which.
Triple H is a part-timer still, and obviously Taker is the definition of part-time.
Taker has to make sure he's in good cardio shape for this match.
So literally right off the bat, they shoot Hunter off the ropes. Triple H goes over the top rope, tears his pec. Obviously, you see, I remember watching this live. I remember, where was I? I was actually, side note, I was in Buffalo, New York for the Bears versus Bills game that weekend. So of course.
Yeah, when you took a shit on the side of the road on the way back.
Listen, bro, muffins, like, they kind of, you know, they went right through me, okay?
Hell yeah, it's a good thing we had baby wipes to wipe your ass. What's up, Poppy? You speechless? I'll take over now. Let me know. I can take over while pouring water. So yeah, Hunter, you know, tears his bicep. You know, and then Shawn and Kane are having a little spot in the corner, a little fist fight in the corner, you know. And HB Shizzle knocked Kane's mask off.
Well, Michael Cole, he hit him so hard, he knocked his mask off.
Michael Cole! The man who needed a script to read when Shane McMahon jumped off a 20-foot Hell in a Cell thing. He had that camera catch him reading the script.
My God, he is broken in half.
Because, you know, because a man jumping off a Hell in a Cell, God, the water cannot stay, whatever. A man jumping off a Hell in a Cell, apparently that's just not cool enough. That's just normal in Michael Cole's world. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Living in Cole's world, baby.
No, Michael Cole, I don't know what's in the order. I feel bad for him because they did the whole Heidenreich thing with him.
Let me tell you a story.
That was so bad. If they did that storyline today, especially with all the
he would be in the speak out accusations.
Yeah, like Heidenreich, that was so bad for Michael Cole. But goddamn, a man jumping off a 20-foot structure, 20-foot plus structure, you have to read a goddamn script because you can't naturally react to that because that's just normal in Michael Cole's world with Heidenreich probably in the back.
Let me tell you a story, Michael.
And then we get back to this. Oh, he hit him so hard he knocked his mask off. No, there's ring rust, Michael. And then even ring rust.
I'm sorry, we can't all be undefeated at WrestleMania like you. I know. I just want to light the fire under your culo.
But you got that shit right now, Michael Cole. And the whole thing was a disaster. Even Taker said it was a shit show. Like they couldn't, on paper, maybe 10 years.
10, 15 years earlier, yeah.
Would have been the greatest match of the Saudi Prince. Would have been, oh yeah, money, Vince, come back.
You know Shane McMahon's theme song, Here Comes the Money? I wouldn't be surprised if the Saudi Prince tries to.
The Saudi Prince probably would have. That's what he would be. He'd probably tell Shane, I'd pay you $50 million for me to walk down the ring to you.
I could see in the last year of that contract, the Saudi Prince goes over at Mania.
He probably will.
Book it right now.
He probably will.
Anyway,
but
this poor Saudi Prince. Look, we just gave you free publicity.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
And the States. Oh,
I don't know why I associate the Saudi Prince. That's literally, you know what? I think of the Great Khali.
Oh no!
Totally different.
Oh no! Next, you're gonna tell me you're gonna associate with Jinder. Is that you're gonna tell me he's the reason why Jinder got the title? Actually, I'm gonna go there. Actually, no, I'm not.
No, we're not. Don't disrespect Undertaker. Anyway.
What?
This whole episode was supposed to be for Taker.
Yeah, but then the Saudi Prince got involved. Oh my God!
All right, so the show.
That's his dish when Vince comes. Come here, Vince, baby. Oh no! Vince is older than him. Oh my God!
I'm sorry, bro, but it's funny because. Side note, I know.
Another side note.
Yes, the Saudi Prince
is a G.
He's a G. He almost didn't let him leave the country back in October.
No, to be honest, that's the greatest thing that's ever happened to the Friday Night SmackDown on Fox when NXT came in because the Saudi Prince, whatever he did, gave engine fuel, destruct all the airplanes for the wrestlers not to come back.
So, long story short, they go there, I think, Halloween.
Something like that.
It's like Halloween.
Only the top wrestlers got back with their private jets.
Yeah.
Whoever had to take the commercial.
I heard McMahon left with Brock on his private one. Go figure. So I remember it was Thursday. Yeah, it was Halloween. That Thursday they're in Jeddah. They got to have SmackDown Friday. Basically whoever's working Raw and SmackDown, the top guys are stuck in Jeddah.
So they bring in NXT.
Our boy Mr. Levesque, Paul Triple H Levesque, obviously hops on his private plane, goes home, and they got to rewrite SmackDown obviously. So who do they debut? NXT and Adam Cole.
The greatest main event of SmackDown on Fox. The greatest show on Fox so far has been when NXT invaded.
In the Fox era, yeah. So if you want to watch that, November 1st, 2019. Friday Night SmackDown.
That's ironic because I was watching the WWE, like, their top 10 on that episode today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Adam Cole versus Daniel Bryan. Instant class. The whole show. And that was a blessing in disguise because that literally gave them long-term booking into Survivor Series in November.
Well, yeah.
But anyway, God.
That was the end of episode 3, the whole Jeddah debacle with the Saudi Prince.
Can we talk about Shawn Michaels when he literally came back in the curtain and he's like, well, what did he say?
And keep in mind, this isn't long-haired, sexy boy Shawn Michaels. This is buzz cut, I'm in retirement and riding with
my bandana keeps falling off during the match, Michaels.
Yeah, he needs to grow his hair back, but that's just not. He did the Triple H haircut. Now
I don't get it. Like, why is it like they all go bald?
It's because Taker did it at WrestleMania 28. They were all in the match. They're like, Taker, you shaved it. He had that mohawk and he shaved the sides. I was like,
yeah, Americano all over.
Yeah, as our dad would say. And Shawn, and when they were staring down before the bell rang, Triple H and Shawn looked at him like, dude, Taker, you're from our era. It's cool. We're going to do it too. Literally, think probably the next Mania, Triple H is facing Brock. Buzz it. Shawn follows
when
after
Triple
that.
H had that awkward buzz cut where he still had hair, and then he finally shaved it all off, thank God.
In quarantine?
No, I'm saying obviously when Triple H shaved his hair first, when he cut the long locks, he still kind of kept like, I was like a 5 or a 4.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then eventually he just went bald completely, thank God.
God bless whatever he did. Then his hair was growing back with all the barbers being closed, and he was doing interviews. He looked like shit.
I'm sure Stephanie could help him shave it.
Dude, I don't know. It's the $1 billion princess. I don't know. Maybe.
Could we go back to my boy Jetta the Prince?
No, what is there to talk about the prince?
Nothing. I'm just saying.
We're done with that show. That was the end of the
Vince
show.
should be thanking him because if that didn't happen, NXT wouldn't have debuted the night after, and they wouldn't have had long-term booking. So you know what, Mr. Jetta Prince, thank you for saving.
He's booking his own thing. He's
Look
booking
at that.
SmackDown and Crown Jewel.
I will give you $11 million to be put in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's gonna ask you what can't be with Benoit.
Stop.
What? Now you see they don't have American news in Jeddah. Or he was living under his rock.
Maybe it was.
Or his oil factories. There's gotta be something there. How the hell? I don't know how Vince can't respond back, but if I'm Vince and I've erased Chris Benoit from my history,
the root of this is money rules all.
And he wanted Yokozuna.
Well, he's already in the Hall of Fame.
He wanted Yokozuna on the card. The man's been dead for at least 20 years.
Well, you know how we had fake Diesel and.
Did he think Yokozuna was like the Usos because they were related? Again, Yokozuna, whoever doesn't know, is not Japanese. He was Samoan. He's related to the Anoa'i family tree. He's related to Roman Reigns and the Usos, Nia Jax, The Rock, and that whole family tree. He's not Japanese. Don't get it fooled.
Yeah, they put him in the Japanese.
And who they put with him? Who's his manager?
Fuji.
Mr. Fuji.
You got a problem with Fuji?
No, I don't have a problem with Fuji. Fuji back then was like Gato nowadays.
Oh, wow. Straight shooting with George
Yeah.
Katz.
Jetta Prince. I don't know. Get a TV or something. My God. When I read that, I think I started laughing my ass off when I read that he wanted to put Benoit in the Hall of Fame and he wanted Yokozuna on the card. Like, how the hell?
I was excited because I really wanted to know what Vince's reaction was. I think he told them that we filled up the Hall of Fame slots this year.
He
Try
probably
again next
did.
time.
Yeah, probably. And then he probably gave a TV or he played his interview when he went on Fox to address the steroids again.
Do you remember how they cut off the Prince? Or no, Vince was messing with the Saudi Prince. He pulled the plug on the Super Showdown, and then that's why the Prince grounded all their planes.
Yeah, you don't fuck with the Saudi Prince at his home turf. You don't do it. He's gonna get you back.
That was basically a suicide mission. I don't know why you would do that.
He could have had them all killed. For all we know, I don't know.
I know some. Did you see some ex-WWE employee came out and said pardon? It was a very hostile situation that day, and it was a lot of people.
Felt like hostages, the wrestlers.
Well, yeah.
Thank God, some didn't go because of their beliefs. Like Saudi, how they.
They killed the journalist, obviously, but of course, Vince turns the blind eye to
Sammy's
that.
Arabic, so he didn't go.
Well, he's not. I believe they wouldn't have accepted him because of his nationality, correct? Which is terrible.
Yeah, which is terrible. Something like that, but.
And obviously, Daniel Bryan didn't want to go. John Cena didn't want to go. Everybody had their own personal beliefs.
So you know what the Saudis said? Oh, you don't want to give me the current wrestlers legends? Okay, give me baby Yokozuna. That's what he said. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to shit on this man because he could probably kill me. But what in the world? What was he thinking? Was he high?
I couldn't tell you. I wasn't in the room.
Was he on that good shit that they have in Saudi?
I wasn't in the room when they were booking the matches.
I can't wait for his other demands every year. When they go to Saudi, I wait for the reports.
I feel
and
like
demands.
going forward now, when they have to go to Saudi, Vince is probably just his butt cheeks probably just tighten up so much. He's probably I can't wait what he's gonna ask next.
I don't know.
What if they ask Brock Lesnar to put over Mansoor?
Oh, Brock's gonna kill the Saudi prince. Brock will kill the Saudi prince, and then you hear
Brock's gonna tell us it's very good food.
Yeah, Brock was enjoying his food, and then he's gonna kill him through the table.
Let's play a game. We'll come back to Undertaker, but I think I feel like you need to get this off your chest. Let's play fantasy booking. The next time they go to Saudi, I'm gonna call it. He's gonna ask Brock Lesnar to put over Mansoor.
No, Mansoor's not up there yet. I'm gonna tell you.
What about
last year in their contract?
Did Ali go?
I don't know. I think so.
What if he? You know what? I shouldn't. I'm not even gonna mess with that. Never mind. What were we gonna say? The last year of their contract when they go to Saudi Arabia.
He's gonna ask Vince to put the belt on Mansoor.
For those who don't know, Mansoor, I think he's an NXT talent.
And he only gets called up to go to Saudi Arabia.
And he wins every year because he's Arabic.
Yeah, or something.
He's from,
pretty racist if you ask me.
He's from Saudi Arabia, I believe.
Yeah.
Right. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's the case. Like, again, I'm not trying to be.
We're not the racist one. That's the only time he gets booked on the main rosters when they go to Jeddah.
That's true. Like, I don't. He's not a mainstay on Raw.
He's not even a main event player in NXT to even get that.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, unfortunately, they use him as a ploy to get booked. I mean, it's cool. Like,
it's cool, but it's kind of racist if you think about it.
Yeah.
Unless the Saudi prince asked for him.
I mean, maybe. Well, I'm sure the Saudi prince probably asked, like, do you have anybody that's... Maybe. I don't know. I never asked. I'm too afraid.
And then Mustafa Ali's going to win the other belt. And that's about it.
I don't think Mustafa... What's his background?
I don't know.
Because, I don't want to say something now and we're going to get in trouble for it. Like... But the Mansoor thing, that's 100% true.
Yeah, that's
the only time he ever wrestles on TV is for pretty much Jeddah when they go to Saudi Arabia,
and he wins. He's undefeated. They're gonna start. He won the
greatest
World Cup thing. Majigger thing.
So that's true. If anyone doesn't believe us, look it up. I mean, if anybody finds a clip of him on Raw or SmackDown, even main event or NXT, DM it to our social media page at Katzzbros.
I think he lost one time when he entered the Greatest Royal Rumble and Strowman won. Maybe that's his only.
Maybe that's the only. Yeah, and then, I mean, he still never pinned or submitted. But yeah, I feel like the Saudi
he's got the taker streak. You know, Saudi prince said, I want a taker streak.
What do you think?
Probably segued off this.
I know.
Episode of.
Well, Taker. That's what happens. I mean, there was just so much controversy going on this year. But before we go back to Undertaker, what do you think? What do you think he's gonna ask for? What do you think the Saudi prince is gonna ask for in the last year? Like the last. Assuming they don't re-sign, like this is it. You know what I mean? I mean, who knows if Vince will even own it by then? I mean, there's rumors he's going to sell it to Fox or Disney.
If he sells it to Disney,
they're never going back to Jeddah. The Saudi prince will literally sue him for every dollar he's worth. Because you're going to tell me Disney's going to go to Saudi Arabia?
No. He's not going to sue him. You know what he's going to ask for? I'm going to tell you what he's going to ask for. He's going to ask for Mickey Mouse to win the title, and that's what he's going to ask for. He's going to ask for Mickey Mouse to win the title, and his wife, Minnie, or whatever her name is. What's Mickey Mouse? Minnie Mouse to win the Women's Championship. That's what the prince is going to ask for if it gets sold to Disney at this point. But if it's still in WWE's possession, the way he's going, I don't know, he likes Dark Side of the Ring, clearly, so I just hope he doesn't ask for anybody else.
I mean, at this point...
Maybe he'll ask for New Jack. Bring New Jack to Saudi Arabia. I want to see how New Jack would have reacted to his plane being grounded. He probably would have gone up to the Saudi prince. You know what he would have told him?
The Saudi prince probably would have told him what offense he was going to get in.
Yeah, you know what New Jack would have told him? I'm not going to stab you 16 times. I'm going to stab you 9 times like he did to the poor indie wrestler.
That's a quote from Dark Side of the Ring episode on New Jack. We're not being violent here. That actually happened. What about, who was that crazy, speaking of Dark Side of the Ring, who was that, the booker?
Oh my God, if the Saudi prince and oh my God, what's his name? It's like Ed Hearn? No, not Eddie. No, that's the boxing guy.
That's the boxing guy. Abram, yes.
Abram.
What was that promotion? Abram. You know what I'm talking about, right?
If the Saudi prince and this Abram guy ever booked a show together, oh my God. If you guys don't know Abram, let's just say there were stories.
Herb Abrams, here we go.
Herb Abrams. There were stories of this guy that was off the ronkers. He would be filled naked with cocaine, Vaseline all over and cocaine. That's how crazy they are. You put him in the Saudi... Well, I think Herb Abrams is dead, though. So, I mean, I don't know. The way the Saudi prince goes, he might ask. He might go to the UWF promotion, Resurrected, and tell Herb Abrams, Christos. My God, this man is insane. Mickey Mouse is going to win the title if it gets sold to Disney. Mickey Mouse. Watch it. I'm calling it right now. Mickey Mouse. And Minnie's going to win the Divas Championship or the Women's Championship.
June 22nd, 2020. I'm calling it you're calling it the last year of the Saudi contract. If it's sold to Disney, Mickey and Minnie are coming out as Becky and Seth of...
Oh, Becky and Seth are going to be in the costumes. They're going to be the ones in the costumes.
Oh my God.
Mark it! I'm telling you.
Hashtag book it.
That's what if the Saudi Prince gets a hold of this video, he's gonna be like, genius. Come book with me for the episodes.
You gonna ask for 10 million?
I'm gonna ask for 14 million. As our mother looks at us like we're insane.
What if the Saudi Prince gave you a blank check and said, George Katz, name your price? How much would you put down?
100 million. I tell him, give me your oil farms too.
Your oil farms?
your oil
fields.
Yeah, them too.
What they got? Ayalada milking the oil fields?
I heard there's one loose in Hoffman Estates. Shout out my boy.
Wait, what? We have cows. Wait, what? No, you're talking about Glenview. There's one of the cows that's by the farm out there.
Oh, right? I don't know. Chris Gillespie sent me a shout out. Chris Gillespie sent me a news article on two wild cows being loose in Hoffman Estates.
You know he's messing with you, right? He's gotta be. Find me that news article clipping.
I don't know, man. Maybe no. I'm scared it might shoot me off to Mendigo like how you used to do.
What? Mandango? What? This is probably the most fun we had in a while.
Oh my god. Wow. Saudi Prince, 100 million and your oil fields for me to come book for you. And you know what? I'll make you a deal. 100 million, oil fields, and I'll put Seth and Becky in the Mickey and Minnie Mouse costumes to win. And I'll put Mansoor as the champion, baby. I'm gonna strap a rocket to his ass in that build up to Jeddah.
I want to make Mansoor the double A and just have him be the belt collector.
Yeah. Hey, wait. We can't talk about Austin Aries.
Oh.
You forgot.
I was talking about Arn Anderson.
Oh, good on all. Ole. Arn. No, we can't mention him because he's with AEW.
So?
He wouldn't work for us. He's got, unless we bring Cody, unless we merge with AEW. If I booked. But that's a long way away. But Herb Abrams, baby!
Are we going to go back to Mark Calloway at all?
Okay, that was the end of episode 3, the shit show in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Which leads it to episode 4, which ironically is another shit show in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
Wait, is this the Goldberg?
Okay.
Goldberg.
Yeah. So episode 4, coming off this shit show, Taker wants to go back and train. He's not obviously fulfilled because he's chasing a ghost because he doesn't want to end his career like that.
And end his career on
a shit show.
Which match? He said a couple.
The Jeddah.
The one
with Hunter and Shawn.
The tag team.
The tag team match.
So again, Undertaker's mindset at this point, I got to redeem myself from this match. Then what happens?
I think they go to Jeddah again. Okay. I know, he definitely had like a few appearances. Oh, he wasn't booked on this Mania. 35.
This is WrestleMania. Yeah, so he's in Gorilla, and it's weird for him because even at the Hall of Fames, you never see Undertaker sitting in the crowd. Apparently all these years they had him backstage in Gorilla because again, the mystique of the Undertaker, he's not human like everybody else. Exactly. You can't see him planted in the crowd amongst, the humans. So he was always backstage in Gorilla with his wife. Yeah, WrestleMania 35, which was 2019, so last year's WrestleMania, he's not booked. And he was pretty much, at least the viewers thought that he was at peace with it, but once the WrestleMania card started, it kind of dawned on him like, I should be out there. This is a point where...
Wait.
Okay.
Finish your thoughts.
I was going to say, at this point, he thought, he was mentally and physically okay, but...
You know what the best part of this is?
What, that he forgot his stuff?
Vince McMahon tells him, you're gonna be on Raw the next night, and Taker wasn't ready. He didn't bring his gear, so Taker rookie mistake. His wife ribs him. It was hilarious. It was a little good funny segment. Taker goes back to Austin, Texas, gets his stuff, and flies back still in time for the whole Mania.
Wait, he flew during WrestleMania?
Okay, maybe it was Saturday night.
Oh, okay.
And maybe it was the takeover. That was a good takeover though. Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, 2 out of 3 falls, NXT title, main event, NXT takeover New York. Wow. That was a good match. So he flies back. He's sitting there. He's frustrated, sickening. He should be out there. So then he's got to get his ass back in shape. Brings his stuff. Him and Vince before Raw. Vince gonna call him in his office, but he sneaks up on him, has like a little tickle fest. That's what he had, and gets creative. The Raw thing he did was Elias was like, that was the night of Elias. Old John Cena came back, which we thought he was here to stay. The Doctor of Thugonomics returned.
At WrestleMania
35, beat the hell of Elias.
Yeah, they squashed Elias. The night after, Elias comes out,
because promo, he goes, the next man to interrupt me is going to be a dead man, and then boom! Taker comes out, squashes Elias again. That was that.
What were they building towards in that case? Oh, Extreme Rules, right?
Nope. Nope, because that was that, and then they're asking Taker, how do you feel? Taker's like, man, I feel like great. So, Hunter gives him the call, and he says, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Once in a lifetime. We haven't seen it.
Time out. They got to stop with these once-in-a-lifetime stuff, because if the Saudi prince is booking it, it's obviously going to be twice in a lifetime, because, Yokozuna was coming back. Sorry.
But, Hunter calls him, says, Saudi Prince obviously wants Goldberg, and Goldberg is not cheap. He's not cheap. That's why he dropped the belt at this year's WrestleMania, especially with the budget cuts. To Braun Strowman. Strowman probably will be his only Universal title reign. That's besides the point.
You know what though? I feel like if Strowman plays this out, he could have another reign, in my opinion. But that's another another episode down the line.
So the Saudi Prince broke out the checkbook for Billy Boy Goldberg.
William Billy Goldberg.
So they said, Goldberg versus Undertaker, main event, Jeddah. That's money for the Saudi princes. That's money for everyone. That's money, right? Old men, the faith, the destruction of WCW, Goldberg, the face, versus the dead man.
The Phenom. Just 20 years too late. But
exactly. So what happens? We're prepping. They show Taker playing some cards, He's chilling. He feels good. He felt good about this match. Go out there with Bill Goldberg.
A.K.A. Do you know the concussed man, the concussed man, the concussed man.
Sloppy.
Bill gets concussed.
Bill?
He's been getting concussed a lot lately.
Well, you know how he got concussed in this match? Let's get right into it. Right away, Bill puts Taker in the corner, is going to charge at him with some spear in the gut. Undertaker moves out of the way. Goldberg goes right into the pole through the turnbuckles and concuss himself.
He gets color 5 minutes into the match.
So Goldberg's working this match concussed, and God, if anybody knew, it was basically Taker when he was concussed against Brock. Goldberg concussed, tries to hit this 6'11", whatever pound Undertaker with a jackhammer, and 2 inches away from breaking his neck, and that was it for Goldberg.
I watch these clips, and I've seen this clip so many times, and I replay it in my head. It is terrible. Literally, do you remember when we used to watch the old WWE DVDs and they have the beginning where it said, do not try this at home?
Yeah, do not try.
This would be the latest clip that would be inserted into
it'd be, don't be Bill Goldberg and get concussed and try a jackhammer on a guy that's...
I mean, he got concussed. He couldn't even pick him up for... Bill tried to give him the jackhammer. I think Taker tried to choke slam him.
And that was botched.
It was not... It was obviously Undertaker wins, but
it was a shit show. Another shit show in Jeddah.
So again,
shit show part 2.
Again, in Undertaker's mind, I got to redeem myself from this.
They cut the camera after Taker pins him. He's disbelief.
Do we talk about how his wife Michelle, that part where she talks about how she always texts the doctors how you're doing?
Yeah.
And Undertaker never really admits to anyone whether he's in pain or not. And this was kind of the first time that he was kind of
he jacked his back from the jackhammer.
I'm hurt. I'm actually hurt. So even his wife was like, oh no, this is not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously again, Undertaker's still chasing that match. So
he's
obviously
chasing the Shawn Michaels match they gave Shawn.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
And we talked about that, right? We're saying he's chasing the retirement match. The match he could hang his hat up on, the fans are going to be happy, he could ride off into the sunset. That's basically this whole premise right here, what Undertaker's chasing. And he said it, he goes, the past couple of years, I've come to the conclusion, obviously, that, I can't do this forever. I'm mentally preparing myself to ride off into the sunset.
Well, he even said going into Jeddah, he signed that 2-match deal, which he was going to be already booked for Extreme Rules. So now he has to consider going to Extreme Rules with the jackback guy. He's got to, see how he feels.
Yeah, because Jeddah was in June, Extreme Rules was in July, so a month later, he's got to somehow turn it around. And, granted, it was still a tag team match, but again,
with the big dog, woo!
So it was Undertaker and Roman versus Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre. Obviously, thankfully, Undertaker recovered. And again, this was a match he felt really great on. And even when we were watching it together, I kind of had sense of Taker from 10, 15 years ago. The way he was moving in the ring, he was fluid. You could tell even when he hits the tombstone and he buries the guy, you could tell when it's
nice and
vintage Taker versus broken down Taker. You could just tell like you said how he's moving in the ring.
You said he felt good after the match. He goes back and he was content. He told Vince like, I think I'm done. Like that was a great match. Like, the energy was there. He's like, I think I'm done.
So this is episode 4.
Yeah.
So in Undertaker's mind, like I honestly do believe he was ready to hang it up on this one. Granted, I know it was a tag team match, but he felt great. I think he was slowly kind of realizing my body's giving me so many red flags. Like I want to have this match. I want to hang my head up on, but because I feel like for Taker, the reason why I was shocked that he was okay with this match is because it was a tag match.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but to end episode 4, he was saying to Vince, "I'm done. I feel good." Vince like, "Okay, whatever you want." Vince even said like, "I'm gonna follow Mark's lead." Like,
which is impressive because Vince does. There's only I feel like a handful of guys that Vince does that with.
Oh, we forgot though. How do we get to Jeddah and all this? Starrcast. When AEW was starting up, obviously they didn't mention it. They have this Starrcasting where they have a Legends panel. And Taker was starting to feel comfortable where he's going to ESPN. Like, he didn't give people the look behind the hat. Like, nobody knew Mark Calloway.
Yeah, we just knew who Undertaker was.
So, and he was explaining, like, nobody knew that, but he, like, wanted to branch out with the new era. He got, like, his own social media team to promote, to do this and do that, because he can't always wrestle. He has to find other ways to make appearances.
And I think, like you said, like, that's kind of him kind of realizing, okay, what's my life going to be after wrestling when I do hang up the boots? Very good point.
And then Starrcast comes. And they had, like, him and Angle, they said.
Yeah, him and Kurt Angle were supposed to sign to be on that Legends panel.
And, oh, my God.
Vince, VKM, almost
lost his shit.
He literally stroked out. Well, they had a falling out, right? Or, I apologize. You tell the story.
So, but Taker didn't understand that this was AEW. He thought this was different. Like, he didn't understand this was AEW's thing.
Yeah,
he thought this was completely different.
It is, but it isn't in the same way because it's literally in the same weekend. Like, they have Starrcast the night before AEW. A lot of the AEW stars go on Starrcast. It's basically a cross promotion. Like, it's separate, but it's not.
And really Taker he didn't even know about AEW. Like, he didn't know any of that.
Because he's a WWE man his whole life. So for him, this was just for the way, and this is how I interpret it, this was how Undertaker kind of just understood, like, okay, this is just another way for me to get my name out there that's not a WWE platform. Not realizing they had any association with AEW. Like I said, it's kind of tricky. It does, but it doesn't.
Because Taker doesn't know anyway.
Yeah.
So he said he gets a call from Vincent Kennedy McMahon, and Vince goes, basically, what the hell are you doing? Why are you going with this other promotion? Mark and Taker's like, what are you talking about? This is Starrcast. He didn't know there was other company. So Vince told him, and he pulled Taker and Angle out of Starrcast, which we now know Taker signs a new deal that Uncle Dave Meltzer reported is a 15-year deal.
I'm assuming it's a Legends deal, but we'll talk about that later.
We'll get into that. So that's how we get to Crown Jewel and Extreme Rules, because Taker was going to do this appearance, but VKM lost his shit because he thought he was going to AEW, which doesn't make sense. Vince obviously is going to take care of Mark and Taker, so
loyalty.
So he pulled him, gave him a 15-year contract. That's insane. I don't know what he gave Angle.
Oh, he fired him.
Oh, they fired a lot of people in budget cuts. There's a lot of... With the budget cuts that happened, there's a lot of people that shouldn't have got fired, that other people who should have gotten fired, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
So that's how we got here. And going back to end, how we were saying Vince going to follow Taker's lead now anywhere he retires. To end part 4, the camera cuts. Taker tells cameras don't follow him as he goes to talk to
Alan Jones,
AJ Styles,
the phenomenal one. So episode 4 ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, which we all know because the match already happened.
Yeah, if you watch WrestleMania 36 this year, you know where we're going with this. Which takes us to the conclusion of this whole docuseries.
The finale.
Episode 5 picks up
with Undertaker on the Stone Cold podcast, and he was explaining how he was going to write his own journey, his own fairy tale ending to all this.
That's something like, I think he
not
even
fairy
said,
tale,
like,
but like
he said, I basically
he's going to write his own chapter.
Right.
His own
he's not listening to anybody that says you should have retired already. He's going out on his terms. The old gunslinger is going to go out when he wants to go out.
And he truly felt Extreme Rules was done until Alan Jones, AJ Styles, gave him a phone call after watching that podcast and said, hey, Taker, I know you don't have many in you, but I'd feel honored to do it with you one last time. If this is your last match, like, I want that one more.
Side note, did you know that one of AJ Styles' closest friends is actually really good friends with Undertaker and his wife. So that
Yeah.
was so they kind of
They
knew
knew
of
each
AJ.
other, yeah.
They knew of AJ and his wife. So it's kind of weird how the stars align.
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously, like you said, AJ.
Was it a wrestler that they knew? Was it?
I don't
No, I
remember.
don't remember.
They said it was just a close family friend that they they shared a mutual friend. But like you said, like Michelle knew AJ's wife, and obviously AJ knew Michelle and Taker. So now the wheels are spinning. Like AJ right here's got nothing to lose. He even said, he goes, worst case he says is no. So should we talk about the rib?
So Taker eventually, Taker starts training with these NXT stars, the big NXT stars, to give him like what they should do, how to be more agile and all this.
How to work as a
But he was taking this as how I feel after this. I'll say yes or no to the match with AJ.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Again, getting his body ready.
He said yes. He knew a day, but he gave himself an extra day to make sure everything felt good. And he felt good. He was going to go into training. And it was going to be an intense match, he said, because in his first day of training, he was doing some position. He started bleeding from the nose.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
But so he calls Vince and he tells Vince, I want to work with AJ at WrestleMania 36. And but he goes, don't tell AJ right away. We're going to rib. And a rib...
What's a rib, George?
In WWE is a prank, pull the wrestlers prank other wrestlers. That's how it is. They just call it a rib. And he goes, tell him I want to work with some guy with Tennessee, like an up-and-comer from Tennessee.
Yeah.
Tell him that at first.
So when they tell AJ...
They cut to AJ, and AJ picks up the phone, and he goes, yeah, Vince calls me. He goes, Taker's going to work WrestleMania, but it's going to be with this up-and-coming star from Tennessee that he wants to run.
He wants to put him over.
He wants to put him over. And AJ goes, bullcrap! This is bullcrap! You can't tell me Taker doesn't want to work with me! Bullcrap! He goes, you guys are ripping me. You guys aren't pulling this.
Well, let's talk about why would AJ be a perfect opponent? Because what were the comparisons?
He's the closest thing to Shawn Michaels that Taker could work with nowadays.
Exactly. And if you look back at the history of Undertaker, a lot of his
great matches.
Yeah, a lot of his star-studded well-known matches were with small guys like Shawn,
Kurt.
CM Punk, Kurt, Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
So this was they do call AJ Shawn Michaels 2.0, so this is perfect. But
the build-up going to this actually was perfect.
Yeah, talk a little bit more about that build-up.
So AJ made this personal with all his promos leading up. Actually, they started it. Where did they start this again? The build. Yes. They started a crown jewel again, where AJ was gonna be the greatest wrestler. There was some trophy, some gimmick match this Saudi prince always wants.
Bless you.
Yeah. Taker comes out, beats him, and they cut back to Taker backstage.
Not even that. AJ's calling Taker out, and you think you have this feeling deep down, the mark inside you knows Taker's gonna come out, but every time that the bell tolls and Taker comes out, it's always special. So he comes out, he buries him.
Buries him. Don't say that, because obviously we know what happens. You don't say buried to a wrestler of AJ.
I apologize. You're right.
Squash. That's a better word. And they cut to Taker backstage. He goes, doesn't take a brain surgeon to realize it's going to be the launching pad to me and AJ Mania, as he throws something away and he yells Kobe, which was...
That was epic.
And going into this, AJ's promos, the build-up were personal. He was saying how Michelle's going to run him in the ground about, he's going to basically run him in the ground to retirement and keep going back. He didn't understand why Taker kept coming back, he's old and all this. But he made it so personal with Michelle. Even Michelle called AJ's wife because her friend's I really hate him. He's doing his job.
Yeah. Well, he even said at one point, he goes, I don't even know who Undertaker is anymore. I just know this Mark Calloway guy who's on social media posing with his wife.
Yeah, he just attacked. He basically said the Undertaker was dead. He doesn't believe in the mystique anymore.
It was a very good promo.
And then which leads to Taker going, he had to change back to the American Badass. He goes, how I can't be Undertaker and beat the hell out of this guy for all the personal things, because now it's personal.
Yeah. Well, he even said I have to, going into this WrestleMania match, I have to, because they do a really good job of talking about how Undertaker evolved his character throughout the years to stay relevant, while still keeping the mystique and the grassroots level of what the Undertaker is at its core. So he said you're going to see a little bit of the Undertaker, you're going to see a little bit of the American Badass, and you're going to see a little bit of Mark Calloway in this match. So that's what I think the beauty of like you said, they told the story, and this was kind of the story going into the WrestleMania match. So
before we get to the match,
obviously
the pandemic hits. So now,
which I think was good because I mean I would have I don't know. Sorry, I apologize. I totally worded that wrong. It wasn't good we had a pandemic. I'm saying
for this type of match that they did, which was going to become a boneyard match.
Yeah. It wasn't going to be a straight up wrestling match. Like it has to be like these cinematic style matches that they shoot, which is great because the way I look at it is like this is a perfect way to make him look strong. If there's a botch or something, you could fix it. And then again, being a fan of wrestling, suspend your disbelief for a little bit. And I think for me personally, I think this kind of worked to their advantage.
It stole part night one of the Mania.
100%. It was the main event.
Yeah, it was a great main event since they did 2 nights with the pandemic and all that, which makes sense.
Right.
But
so they were saying like, what is a boneyard? What is a boneyard match?
They literally go to this like just
abandoned
acre land, 40 minutes away from the PC Center, the Performance Center, and like they're actually Triple H got involved with Pritchard, and I saw JB, Jeremy Borash. They were doing the filming.
About Pritzker. He wouldn't have approved of it. We weren't in the proper phase. I digress.
Why? Just why? Why would you have to mention his name? I just told you how I felt about the Saudi Prince. Now you bring this.
What if they both booked a show together? JB would be like, what phase do you want this in, sir? Sorry. You were doing so good. I'm just going to shut the hell up now. All right, take it away. I'm going to wait, hold on. Give me your hand.
No, don't touch me.
It's a tag match. I'm tagging out.
Okay, good.
Bring it home.
It's about time. They go to the boneyard match, and they start doing all these things to make it cool, and to start the match with the whole biker thing. But while they were filming the first night they checked out, they're on the way back, and tragedy hits for actually Undertaker as he finds out from his niece that his brother passed away. So that was a tough day for him.
Yeah.
And going into the match. And he said it was tough because he dealt with how Kobe passed affected him also and the whole world, obviously. And now he's dealing with his brother's passing going into this match. And it was really, really eye-check. I think they started also showing the importance of his father in this episode. That's why I said it was earlier in our podcast episode, how it was nice they brought it on Father's Day. Because to start part 5, he was mentioning the loss of his father and like everything he's done for him and the importance.
Yeah. I mean, I also want to add to that how, like you said, like his brother dying. And I think the part where you talked about Kobe dying, like it made him realize how life is pretty much precious and you don't know how much time you have. And that's what I think that was kind of helping him kind of ease that transition from out of the ring to being a family man.
Yeah.
He even talked about it, like everything that like, you know, he learned from his father. It was funny because apparently Undertaker had a basketball scholarship back in the day, and he told his dad he's going to give it up to be a wrestler. And of course, his dad lost his mind because, you know, I think and at that point you don't know, like you're giving up a sure thing with a scholarship to do this whole, you know, thing that you don't know where it's going to lead you. But obviously his father ended up supporting him, and it was funny because, you know, part of the gimmick is he wears, you know, makeup or eyeshadow. And remember the part where he was telling his dad that he was like, you know, he had to wear eyeshadow, and
his dad was like this crazy. He goes, "What is my 6'11" son putting eyeshadow?"
Yeah, and it was kind of like a cute, like a funny, cute moment between like them. How like, yeah, Dad, I do this for a living.
I'm sorry. I just looked at my phone. I know we're talking about the Taker, but I just looked at my phone and we have breaking news out of my favorite commissioner, Rob Manfred.
Wait.
As the MLB is set to return, commissioner to impose a 60-game season if players report by July 1st and agree on health and safety protocols. Just have to break some news right there. I tried to check my phone. Rob Manfred, you were a loser a week ago on the commissioner special. You're looking like a winner finally. Attaboy. Good job. You finally put your foot down on Scott Boris. God bless you. Now go get the safety protocols and let's make it official.
Bravo, Palicarimo.
It's a good thing I looked at my phone. July 1st. That's ironic because that's our start date too. God, Manfred's just taking notes out of me,
just,
bro.
you know, hopping on.
Manfred just wants to do what I do, basically.
Choo-choo.
Make me the commissioner of the MLB.
What does Artem Lobov say?
Choo-choo, motherfuckers. What are we talking about now? I know we were talking about Taker and his dad.
Well, I was talking about his father. Yeah, unbelievable. So it was a cute moment between his dad and
breaking
him.
news.
You know, Rob Manfred could wait. You know, Mark Calloway.
He's been Rob Manfred's been a loser this whole time in Quarty. He finally wants to be a winner. Let me give him the rub and put him over and make him a winner.
Well, let's see if they sign this agreement. So.
I mean, they're set. You're not just here. They just have to agree to protocols now.
Great. Well, the way Manfred goes, I'm sure he's gonna find a loophole. So. Oh, is Scott Boras okay with this?
I don't know. Ask me if I give a shit.
Do you give a crap?
I really don't.
Okay, cool. Anyway, going back to The Undertaker, this is a really nice moment with his father, and a serious note, kind of bringing it back. Like you said, dropping the episode on Father's Day, it kind of makes you appreciate life for what it is. And again, Undertaker's kind of transitioning to being a father to his daughter, being a husband to Michelle, and I think he's okay now with like stepping away. He's kind of come. Yeah. You slowly see throughout this docuseries, he's slowly coming to terms with everything's going to be all right. The business is in good hands. Like I said, they joke about him being the godfather, and the locker room leader, and all that. So obviously that was Undertaker. Now like this is Mark Calloway, like who he is, like the man, the family man, and stuff outside the ring. So I think one of the things this docuseries does a really good job of is kind of showing the evolution of who he is as a man now. And now, especially in this last episode, like he's at peace with what he ultimately decides. So going back to that, they're prepping for the Boneyard match.
And, they do shoot and take, actually. When Taker smashed his hand through the window in the match, they had to stop it because it was bad before it got infected.
Yeah. Well, that was a good improvised line when he looks at it and he goes, son of a bitch.
So they had to stop there and clean it up like it was bad. And he goes, that had an effect on him at his age because the adrenaline slows down, and now
that's
he's
another
tired.
Good point, yeah.
And now all the pains and aches that he was going through with the match was catching up, and it really kind of slowed down the momentum. And he said they didn't finish filming the match till 5 a.m.
Yeah. And side note, going back to what you were saying about the adrenaline, you need that. Like you need that in general, but especially where Taker is at his stage of his career. Yeah. That's what gets him through the match. And then after, when the 1, 2, 3 happens, and he feels all the pain, like. I don't want to say it's okay, but like you said, like it's after the match. Now he's back to his own little world where he could, recover, rest, unfortunately get whatever surgery he needs. And I think that's another thing we forgot to touch upon after, which WrestleMania was
33, he had the hip surgery.
Yeah, after the one with Roman, he gets his hip replaced again. And it was funny because, like, not funny, but when they were always like, how they ask you like those those screening questions, or like how many surgeries have you had? And I think at one point Undertaker goes, how much time you got? Basically, it's kind of, we kind of laughed about it in the moment, but then it kind of puts everything into perspective, like how many times this man's been under the knife for the business. But yeah, so like I said, they're filming it. They get done at 5 o'clock in the morning. Obviously,
the match came all together. They took everything from Taker's gimmicks, and they even brought the Druids at one point.
Well, how about even like AJ like coming out of the hearse and he pops out? That was cool in the beginning. Mm-hmm. Obviously, at the time they had Gallows and Anderson, so that was kind of cool having them involved. The Druids. Obviously, he rode with the motorcycle. I think that was a huge kind of like symbolism.
Yep. Well, let's just talk about it. Obviously, we know he wins the match. If you haven't seen it, you can go watch it. But
he rides
off of the sunset, has the logo in the background, and then you just see him right off in the sunset. And he even said he's like, he said like the cowboy something.
He said like the cowboy. He said like I think the cowboy has ridden off for the last time.
And he's content that even though he had no fans, like that was a good match to end out with AJ.
Yeah, and it got rave reviews, and I think.
And he has the respect from everyone. So
right, and I feel like the biggest thing is like you're rooting for him because you want him. All the people all the wrestlers past and present that they interviewed for this doc, like. You don't want him to chase, like you said, that the wrestling ghost of like, is this good enough I can hang my head up on? Like I think it's safe to say everybody's relieved that he finally got that match.
Whoa,
he's here.
Taker's
here.
Big guy.
I'm putting you over, man.
Take it easy.
But it was nice. So
he even said, he goes, never say never, but he basically said it was retirement.
Yeah, a lot of people think this is a work, but only time will tell. I think.
He even said if Vince, though, is in a pinch and we have to break the glass to bring Undertaker out, he'll do it. But I really think... The thing is, the only reason I don't really believe it is just because there weren't fans. I think if he had a match with AJ with fans, it was done.
I think it'll be a while before we see him. I think... I want to believe this is his last match, but if it's not, the way I don't even want to say book it, but give him a year or two to recover, like fully. Give him like a full 2-year layoff. Let's say 2022. Because I don't know, because if he's going to have one more match, it's got to be with AJ. And I don't know when his contract is up, because I know he did say he signed his last WWE deal. So depending on when AJ's last match is, maybe they both go out, giving him a, giving Taker a 2-year layoff. But I don't know. A lot of people think this is a work. I don't. I think he's contempt. But then again, in wrestling, you never say never, especially when it comes to Vince and the WWE.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. All in all, great docuseries. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Especially now, like I know we've said it so many times. There's not a lot to do with being on lockdown. So I think this was awesome. I personally thought it was going to be years until we got something like this. So I'm really happy that the Undertaker's kind of, like you said, pulling back the hat and like revealing like all those layers to him, not just as
Mark Calloway.
Right, not just the gimmick of the Undertaker, but the person Mark Calloway. It was really well done. Like I said, it was kind of cool. The Boneyard match was great. I think that's me personally, I feel like that's a great way to go out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you think?
On all, it was a great series. I mean, like I said, I think I wouldn't be. Now that I forgot about AJ's contract signing his last WWE deal, I wouldn't be surprised if they did AJ Taker in the last match.
Yeah, and they both retire or something. I mean, we know Taker's a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they put him on the next, obviously not this year, like the next time we have fans. I personally thought this whole series was going to lead to that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool when they swerve you, swerving the marks.
So we'll see what happens, but all in all, it was a great series. People got that another layer to Mark Calloway. People got to know him instead of the gimmick.
Yeah.
And
this was awesome. Like I said, I think this was not just for us fans, but like I think this was good for him to like kind of help him put his mind at ease and like just come to terms of like, and he even said it like, I'm not going to be around forever. The business will always be there, but his legacy will live forever. And I think that's the most important thing. I think the WWE did a good job of honoring him, the gimmick, his legacy, and what he's given to the business. I think, you know what I mean? I think you definitely put Undertaker up there as like on the Mount Rushmore.
Oh, yeah,
WWE,
100%,
no doubt. Everybody says it's the greatest gimmick ever. I don't think you're ever going to see another gimmick like that.
Probably not.
No, especially like the biggest thing is like in the Monday Night Wars, he never jumped ship. He always stayed loyal, especially when all those years that WCW was sticking it to them. He never, faltered when everybody did. Let's be honest. When Hogan and all them left, Taker rode the ship. And I think that's kind of one of the biggest things of why, Vince McMahon loves and adores him so much, and literally will take a bullet for him and vice versa.
He said he would, yeah. They both,
right.
Or Taker said he'd take a bullet for Vince.
Which is crazy, and vice versa. But that just shows you, like, in an industry where there's really not a lot of loyalty, who would have thought you would find it with Vince and, Undertaker? And I feel like Vince, too, kind of, catches a lot of heat because, he is a businessman, he is shrewd, everybody knows Vince. But I feel like maybe this is me being an optimist. I think deep down at his core, like, he's a good guy. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not saying he's a good guy, but some of the things he wanted to book.
Yeah, I know.
Some of the things he's done.
I'm just saying, I hope this also kind of sheds light on that. Like, it may not be towards everybody, but deep down, there is a beating heart.
There is.
I feel like that's a JR line I stole, but
probably.
Yeah. Anyway, this was fun.
Yeah. Talk about my boy, the Saudi Prince.
Dude, you better not come after us now. I'm kind of low-key scared.
What's he going to do?
Offer you a contract?
Big bet.
What if he tells you got to put over Mansoor?
I'll do it. And I'll take backlash from the fans. I'll be like, yeah, I sold out. Sold out for money. 100% I'd do it.
As Seth said, I never sold out. I bought in.
Nah, sure. I can't even. I'm buying in my mansion with the money, maybe.
I mean, as long as he doesn't ask you to put over Yokozuna, you're good.
If you do it. Or put Benoit in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I don't think Benoit is ever going to go in the Hall of Fame. I think his wife, Nancy, a.k.a. Woman, should be in there.
Yeah.
So I think that's the closest you're going to get.
I'll make a handshake agreement with him on that.
Gentleman's agreement?
No.
This is fun. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen you in like full-blown mode. I'm happy. I'm glad you finally let it all out.
Just being honest. I'm just being me, I've always been me. I don't know what you're trying to say.
Oh, nothing. I'm just saying, like, I liked it. I feel like the Saudi Prince really got your blood pumping.
His comments got me. His wish list.
Hey, man, all I want for Christmas is you.
Yeah, all I want for Christmas is Yoko.
All right, guys. In all honesty, though, if you haven't gotten a chance, check out the docuseries Undertaker Last Ride. You won't regret it.
Yep.
It's solid. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of, again, the wrestling fan in me wants to believe it's a work, but I don't think it is. But anyway, speaking of that, I want to talk about our merch. I know it's been a while since we had a second wave, but like I said, anyone interested in a second wave of merch, feel free to DM our social media page at Katzzbros Podcast. And if you can't listen to us on our official YouTube channel,
Take us down the road with Spotify and iHeartRadio and Apple Podcasts.
peace.
Later.